my God, this one is gonna be crazy. And as we know, there ain't no loyalty in football these days. Hardly any. What's up, Rich Squad? Welcome back to the channel. It's episode 2, season 2 of Q&A Fridays, where you guys ask all the questions and I provide the answers to the best of my ability. You guys left a few questions again, and now I'm back. The first episode was very successful. Not 100,000 views, but in my opinion, very successful. It's just good to get this thing back on the road again. So if you're seeing this, guys, wait for the community tab post for where I'm gonna put it out weekly, asking you guys to leave your questions. And that's where you're gonna leave your questions, because I want this comment section to be somewhere where you could actually debate and discuss things talked about in the video. So wait for the post in the tab and leave your questions there. I really appreciate it. But it would be nice to get all the questions in one place, like to have some order. If you leave the questions here, I will still answer them. I will look for them and find them. But anyways, let's move on. The first question this week is from Anna Edit, and she asked, he or she, I don't know if it's a he, because guys like to name themselves Anna too, right? Will Niko Kovac stay the coach for Bayern? That's a very great question. For my answer, I think he should be given another chance, at least another season, because he didn't come into the team with the team being in a great condition, despite them winning last season Bundesliga as well. But they did not win the Champions League. They did not win the German Cup. So Niko Kovac needed to fix things, if you understand what I'm saying. When he came in with the team, they did not start out the season very well. Remember, Dortmund was leading for most of the season, and then he got things together and Bayern Munich took over, went on to win the Bundesliga by 2 points. Not a big margin, but by 2 points. So it shows that Borussia Dortmund are closing the gap on Bayern Munich. But nevertheless, they still won the title. As for the German Cup, they're in the finals of that tournament as well to play RB Leipzig. And let's assume in 2 days he's going to go on to win that tournament. Well, it should be one day by the time this video is posted. Champions League, they did not do very well at all. They were grouped with Ajax, Athens, Benfica. They topped the group, but in the round of 16, they played Liverpool, who are in the finals. So you shouldn't really feel any shame if you lost to Liverpool, because they have been magnificent. But he needs to get things up there again for Bayern Munich. He needs to get Bayern Munich challenging against the bigger teams in Europe, and they haven't really been doing so as of late. Remember, Ancelotti was there last season, and then he got sacked, and then Heinkes came in, patched things back together. Niko Kovac is just getting things back. So the former Croatian international, the former Bayern Munich player, the former Eintracht Frankfurt man should stay on for another season. That's just what I think. It will be very harsh for them to sack him in his first season after winning potentially a double. Right? Like, come on. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. You could also answer these questions. I'm gonna go for Niko Kovac to remain the manager of Bayern Munich for yet another season. And staying on the topics of managers, Anna Edits also have another great question, which is gonna get another very good answer from me. And she asks, who do you think will be the new Juventus manager? Oh my God, this one is gonna be crazy, because Max Allegri was let go as the manager of Juventus after being there for quite a few seasons, winning the Scudetto in every single year. And sometimes he won the Coppa Italia as well, not this season. Champions League, however, no, it ain't happening for Juventus in the Champions League. They're not winning it, despite them bringing Cristiano Ronaldo in. Allegri, gone. Potential candidates. Who will Juventus hire? I don't think it's going to be Antonio Conte, who used to be the manager of Juventus. He is linked heavily with Inter Milan. That's if he's not already signed over there. It's not going to be Spalletti coming from Inter over to Juventus. Who will it be though? Who will it be? Will it be Jose Mourinho? That's a potential candidate. He he used to manage Inter Milan, and you know, we know he won the Champions League there, and Juventus wants to win a Champions League. Could it be Mourinho over to Juventus? He has been linked with Celtic, though. I don't really see him going to Celtic. That would be kind of weird for him to go to the Scottish Premier League. Like, oh, that would be crazy. Celtic? Like, we all know he can do something in the Champions League, and that's if Celtic qualify for the Champions League. But I don't see Mourinho going to Celtic. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I think right now. He is a potential candidate because he is out of a job right now. Mourinho to Juventus. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Ooh. He did work with Cristiano Ronaldo before, didn't he? But anyways, would it be Pep Guardiola? Because he is the man rumored to take over from Max Allegri. And we had a question like that in the first Q&A session where you guys asked if Guardiola will go on to manage Juventus. And I said no. I said no because he likes to honor his contracts. He signed a contract extension maybe to like 2023 or something like that. But guys, we know there's not much loyalty in football these days. And was Guardiola lying? Was Pep Guardiola lying? Because this morning, when I woke up, I saw an article. The site that I check for my news is goal.com. I like goal.com, been checking them for years. And at the top of their headline, it was Pep Guardiola will be the manager of Juventus, and it's going to be confirmed in June 14th. And at that moment, I was like, what the fuck? Is this happening? Is this going to happen? And a lot of times when I get that feeling, it usually happens. I remember when Neymar rumor came out that he would move to PSG for 222 million. I was like, what? And then I was like, no, this can't be happening. But something told me it will happen. When Juventus was linked to Ronaldo, I was like, oh, you know what? It could happen. Pep Guardiola to Juventus could happen, guys. It could happen. It's a very, very, very realistic thing. It could happen because he was at Barcelona. He won the Champions League there. He did all kind of wonders there. He moved on. I think he spent 3 years at Barcelona. He moved on to Bayern Munich. I think he spent 3 years there again. He did win the Champions League with Bayern Munich. I don't think he did. He did not win the Champions League at Bayern Munich, but he won titles. And Man City, 2 titles in a row, 3 seasons now. Could this be Guardiola's last season? Winning the treble, domestic treble, let me just mention that. Not winning the Champions League. Could he try his hand with Juventus? Guys, I don't want it to happen personally. I don't want it to happen. But if it happens, I really won't be surprised. What will happen to Manchester City if Guardiola moves on to Juventus? I think Man City will be very good still. Because before he came, City had already won 2 titles. One under Mancini and one under Pellegrini. So I don't think it will really affect the team that much because what he taught the boys will stick. But who will manage Manchester City if Pep Guardiola moves to Juventus? That's also another question. Will it be Ajax's current manager, Erik ten Hag? Who will it be? But also, Maurizio Sarri is heavily linked to Juventus as well. And his Chelsea team will play the Europa League final. And after that, we may know the verdict. Will Sarri manage Juventus? Or will it be Pep Guardiola? If they want to win a Champions League and that's their motive with Ronaldo still playing, it just might be Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho. One out of the two. I don't think it's going to be Sarri. It's quite possible still, but it's very scary for us Manchester City fans right now that Pep Guardiola will potentially leave. Who else will leave with him if he goes? Leroy Sané, Ilkay Gundogan, Riyad Mahrez not completely happy. Otamendi, we see Company already left. Guys, it's scary right now. It's really, really scary. but it's a possibility. Thank you very much for the question, Anna Edits. And sorry about getting a little emotional there, but guys, Juventus bringing Guardiola over is quite possible. Guardiola to Juventus, it's quite possible. I am not gonna be surprised if it happens. And since we are on the topic of Juventus, guys, we have a question here from Alice Adam, and she asked, who do you think will be eliminated out of the Champions League next season first? Juventus or Barcelona? Ronaldo or Messi? Who will be eliminated first? Guys, that one is really, really tricky. Well, this season, we saw Juventus get eliminated first. Barcelona went on to the semifinals where Liverpool miraculously defeated them in the second leg. Woo, this one is hard. Barcelona are beefing up their team as well. Signing De Jong, potentially bringing De Ligt, and more players. Who knows? Antoine Griezmann. Who knows? Luka Jovic. We don't know. I don't know. You guys don't know as yet. But they're beefing up their team quite a lot. And it's already beefed up. So, who will get eliminated first? Juventus. Potentially getting Pep Guardiola over there. Oh my God. This one is really, really hard. And again, for Barcelona, we don't even know if Valverde will be their manager next season. We don't know that either. But Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, who will win next season's race? Messi won this year. I think I'm going to go for Barcelona getting eliminated first from next season's Champions League. Juventus are going to make another deep run, potentially with Pep Guardiola as their manager. I can't believe I'm saying that, but guys, it's quite possible. It's quite possible right now, man. I'm telling you, it's insane. But it can happen. It can happen. There is no loyalty in fucking football. No loyalty whatsoever. Players and managers will go to wherever there's a bigger check or wherever, you know, they fit in best. Seriously. Because thank you very much, Alice Adam, for a great question. Then we have another good question from my boy Jiga Karun, and he asked, what would be your dream 32 teams in next season's Champions League? That's a very, very, very good question as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just pull up next season's Champions League teams right now, and I'm going to let you know who I think are going to be in the tournament. So we're just going to pull that up and I'm going to let you guys know. Well, we know the 4 teams from England already. Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham. There could also be a 5th team in Arsenal if they go on to win the Europa League. Well, they have Unai Emery as their manager and they should win it, right? They definitely should win it. Over in Spain, guys. Over in Spain, we have Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Valencia. I think those were the 4 teams in the tournament last year, along with maybe a 50. I can't remember. Yeah, I really can't remember. But Sevilla wasn't in there, right? No, Sevilla wasn't in there. It was those 4 teams. So that's 8 teams. Over in Italy, guys, it is not yet decided. Juventus and Napoli are in. But we have Atalanta, Inter, Milan, and also AC Milan still fighting for those last 2 places. I think Roma are out. I don't think Roma will qualify for next season's Champions League. Germany, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Dortmund, and RB Leipzig. Those teams will be there. So it's not my ideal. Those teams will qualify. They will qualify. But I would like to see Atalanta and Inter back, Inter back in the Champions League. But Atalanta will be a new team. I don't know if they qualified for the Champions League before, but I would love to see them in there. They were really good this season. Duvan Zapata, Papu Gomez doing really, really well. So I really want to see Atalanta in there. It will be heartbreaking if they miss out. But you know what? They have Europa League if they do miss out. So over in France, we have Paris Saint-Germain or PSG and Lille. I'm really happy that Lille actually qualified for the Champions League ahead of Lyon and Marseille. Those 2 teams always disappoint, man. Always disappoint in the Champions League. So Lille, could they hold on to Nicolas Pepe? I don't think they will, and it may affect them. They need to make a few big signings if they are to compete in next season's Champions League. Then we go to Russia, where Zenit St. Petersburg has already secured their place. They also have a second spot, which is up for grabs right now between Krasnodar and Lokomotiv Moscow. So it would be nice to see a different team in there, you know. Moscow has been in there the previous season. It would be nice to see Krasnodar in the Champions League. So Portugal, we have Benfica. They qualified. Ukraine, Shakhtar Donetsk. Belgium, Genk. Then we have Turkey, Galatasaray. They pipped Başakşehir again. Oh man, Başakşehir, so disappointing. And the last team that has qualified for next season's Champions League is Red Bull Salzburg, benefiting from there being an all-English final, and both teams have already qualified through the league. So the champions of the 11th place association, which is Red Bull Salzburg, will take that spot. So basically at the end of the season, we will know the 26 teams that will qualify for next season's Champions League. In the playoffs, however, there will be 6 places up for grabs. Who will take those 6 places, in my opinion, or ideally who I want to see next season? Okay, Dinamo Zagreb, Porto, Ajax, PSV, and we have 2 more teams. Who will they be? Celtic, and the last team. Since Giga Karun, you're asking the question, I'm going to throw Maribor in there. So we will see Maribor back in the Champions League. So the 6 teams that I want to see along with the 26 that we will know at the end of the season are Maribor, Dinamo Zagreb, Ajax, PSV, Celtic, and Porto. Well, that may be different, but that's just answering your question, Ziga Karun. Thank you very much for submitting your question once again. So I have yet another question from my boy Ziga Karun, and I want to say thank you for leaving 2 questions, because a lot of people didn't leave questions, and for you to leave 2, man, you're the man. You are the man. So he asked, can any team make an amazing story next season as Ajax did this year and Monaco in the 2016-17 season? Which team will go on a fairy tale run next season? Oh, could Ajax go on another fairy tale run? Who will it be? Well, if a team has to go on a fairy tale run, it has to be a smaller team, right? So we have teams like, let's say, Atalanta. It would be crazy if Atalanta goes on a deep run. Then we have Genk. I don't think Genk would do it. We have a team like Krasnodar maybe who could potentially qualify. They ain't qualified yet. Or could Maribor qualify and do it? Could Dinamo Zagreb qualify and do it? I don't think so. For real, right now, I don't think so. So a team that could make a deep run, it could be Lille. Could they continue what they did this season in Ligue 1? Could it be Lille or could it be Red Bull Salzburg? Well, they're losing their top scorer, Messi The G.O.A.T, and a few other young and upcoming players. So I don't think Salzburg will make a deep run in the tournament. I'm going to go for Atalanta or Lille if Atalanta makes it to the Champions League. But number 1, I'm going to say Lille could write a story like that next season. We have a very simple question from my boy Domagoj Bokšić, and he asked, Q&A equals, when is your birthday? Well, my birthday is on January 7th. And what I want you guys to do right now is to let me know which famous footballers are born on January 7th. Let's keep it that simple. That's the best ever birthday ever in the entire world. Are any one of you guys born on January 7th? Also, let me know that in the comment section down below. We have a very, very good question from the football nerd, and he asked, who do you think will get promoted through the playoffs to the Premier League from the Championship from League 1, and League 1 from League 2? Great question, man. I absolutely love this question. I saw this question and I've been thinking. So let's start with the team coming up from League 2 up to League One, where we have Newport County versus Tranmere in the playoff finals. I don't know much about these two teams, especially Tranmere, but Newport County, I could remember City defeating them 4-1 in the FA Cup to move on. We did eventually win the FA Cup, but Newport County did defeat Leicester City and they did defeat Middlesbrough to get to play us. So they're a very good team, and I'm going to pick Newport County to get promoted to League One. Now, for the League One finals, we have Charlton playing Sunderland. Yes, guys, Sunderland are now in League One. And if they don't defeat Charlton, they could be in League One for yet another season. Remember, a few seasons ago, Sunderland were in the Premier League. They got relegated, and then in the Championship, they got relegated again. So they are on the quest to return to a higher flight of football, and they take on Charlton. To be honest, I want Sunderland to get back on their feet. So I'm going to say Sunderland to defeat Charlton and go on to the Championship yet again, where they will get some money and they could possibly build their team back to maybe one day return in the Premier League. Maybe not. Not a very exciting team to watch. So let's talk about the big one, the Championship playoff final between Derby County and Aston Villa. To be completely honest, I do not follow the Championship very closely until it gets to this point where we see the playoffs. We had Aston Villa, Leeds, West Bromwich Albion, and Derby County taking part in the playoffs. Derby County defeated Leeds convincingly, and then West Brom and Aston Villa went on to play penalties, where Aston Villa prevailed to make a second consecutive Championship playoff final. Last season they lost to Fulham. Fulham then got relegated, so Aston Villa would be like, yo, if we had went up, we would have done better, right? But we don't know that. The Premier League is very competitive right now. But who will make it to next season's Premier League? Derby County, or will it be Aston Villa? It will be really rough if Aston Villa loses and to play in the Championship once again, right? It will be really, really hard. But for Derby County, it will be some story, right? Frank Lampard, a Premier League legend, a legend of the game. They have Ashley Cole coming to play for them, another Chelsea legend. That is crazy. That's a crazy story. That's an amazing story. But Aston Villa, they seem the better team on paper, the more experienced players and all. But I think what Derby is doing right now, they just writing a fairy tale story. I have a feeling it will be Derby County winning the Championship playoff and getting promoted to the Premier League, and Aston Villa will go away in heartbreak once again. But very, very great question, football nerd. I really, really appreciate that, man. Really appreciate it. We have a question here from Boca Kitambi, and he asked, will Liverpool finally lift a trophy? This is a hell of a question right now. Well, I've been talking about this a lot lately. Liverpool has been amazing this season, and I'm not going to elaborate too much on this. But what do I think? I think they are the favorites to win the Champions League. But I also pose another question. They could go empty-handed, right? They could. It could be one of their best seasons ever recently, and they can still be second best in both tournaments, the Champions League and the Premier League. Will they win a trophy? That's what you're asking. Will they lift the trophy? I'm gonna go for a yes. I think they're gonna win the Champions League. I'm just gonna say that right here. I think they're gonna win the Champions League. It's up to them if they wanna bottle it and give it to Tottenham Hotspur. It's up to them, not up to me or you, but it's up to them. But I think they should lift it. Will they? It's up to them. But they should lift the trophy this season. But with that said, I hope the Liverpool fans don't get too annoying. I hope it don't get to their head. Because one Liverpool fan said, I will never hear the end of it if they do win the Champions League. Especially ahead of us, Manchester City. So, then we have a question from Gaming with Phoenix, and he asked, do you consider Messi the GOAT despite him not winning an international trophy? Well, I think you're actually talking about the overall GOAT here, like the greatest player of all time. I don't know if he is the greatest player of all time, and in the past I have said that he is the GOAT, but I am talking about in our generation. In our generation, modern football. And you could talk about modern football being from 1990 onwards. And before that, you could say it's either Maradona or Pele. That's up to you, but I never seen any of those players play. But Messi has to be the GOAT of our generation. Ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo, in my opinion. The words can't come out, but... But despite Cristiano Ronaldo winning the Euro 16 with Portugal and Messi not winning anything with Argentina, but he has been in quite a few finals with Argentina, hasn't he? Even a World Cup final. So you can't really say that because he hasn't won an international trophy. He has been in a lot of finals, way more finals than Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal has been in. So I'm gonna say he is still the GOAT, the modern day GOAT though, the modern day GOAT. Overall, that's a whole nother debate. And then we have another question from Harold Christ, and he asked, was it a good idea for Real Madrid and Ronaldo to go their separate ways? Since Zidane is back in Real Madrid, maybe Ronaldo can go back. There is no chance that Ronaldo is gonna go back to Real Madrid. It's not happening. All the money that Juventus paid for Ronaldo, they want Ronaldo for 3 seasons. It's a 3-season contract, a 3-year contract, and they're not gonna sell him back to Real Madrid. There's no point of him going back to Real Madrid. He played there for many years. It's like what, 9 or 10 years? So why go back to Real Madrid where you have won 4 Champions League trophies, you have won La Liga a few times, you have won Club World Cups, you won Euro 16 with Portugal while at Real Madrid. It's a chapter that has been closed. He has opened a new chapter, the one at Juventus, and he wants to accomplish a few things there. He has already won a Scudetto, and it would be nice if he could win a Champions League there. And who knows, we could see Pep Guardiola coaching Juventus and coaching Cristiano Ronaldo. That would be crazy. Him managing 2 of the greatest players of our generation, Messi and Ronaldo. Wow, that would cap off a great career. He will get to talk about that for a very long time. But going back to Real Madrid, despite Zidane coming back, I don't think so. Cristiano Ronaldo is not Zinedine Zidane. He is not a manager. Managers could do that, but with players, it's not really the same. It's really not the same. The fans may want him back, but maybe not all the fans. Some of the fans may feel betrayed that he even went to Juventus. They may question his loyalty. And as we know, there ain't no loyalty in football these days. Hardly any. So, to answer your question, I don't think it's going to happen. Ronaldo does not go back to Real Madrid. And for the final question of Q&A Fridays, episode 2, season 2, is from my boy Brian Hinojosa, and he asked, where do you think Borussia Dortmund's new signings, Torgan Hazard, Julian Brandt, and Nico Schulz fit in the team? Well, I'm going to twist up your whole question here. They fit in the team where they play. Schulz is a left back or left winger, and we know Julian Brandt is a forward player. He's a more attacking player, and Torgan Hazard is a left winger. We all should know that already. They should fit perfectly into this Borussia Dortmund team. They play an attacking style of football, and all 3 players are very attacking. Nico Schulz, we saw what he did for Germany against the Netherlands recently, scoring that winning goal. We know what Torgan Hazard could do. He has been doing really well for Gladbach, and we know what Julian Brandt is capable of doing from what he did at Bayer Leverkusen. What I want to talk about though is, could Dortmund challenge for the Bundesliga title again and even winning it over Bayern Munich? Well, it's a good question, and they are making the signings to potentially go on to do so. They're going to have potentially, let's say, Jadon Sancho at the club still. he may leave, I don't know yet. Pulisic left, but we have Hazard replacing Pulisic. So they would have, let's just say Sancho stays. So there's Sancho, Rafael Guerrero. There will be Alcacer, Marco Reus, Mario Götze, Torgan Hazard, Brandt, Schultz. The team is really stacked up. And I know I'm forgetting a few names, but the team is really stacked up right now. Look out, Bayern Munich. Borussia Dortmund are really serious. They're serious. They're making the signings that they could potentially challenge for a title or even challenge in the Champions League. These are some very good signings because for a while I have known that Nico Schultz is a really good player. While at Hoffenheim, and the fact that he was called up to the German team, despite being around 25, 26 years old, he is very fast. And I expected him to go to Bayern Munich. But the fact that they have David Alaba still in good form over there, he may not get a lot of first team football. So it's a really good choice that he went to Borussia Dortmund. It will only create more competition over at Dortmund, and competition is good for business, right? So Dortmund could challenge for next season's title. I don't know if they're gonna win it. I don't know. Dortmund are a very tricky team. They trick people. They sizzle and they dazzle and then they fizzle away like they did this season. So we don't know what would happen, but they're moving in the right direction. Thank you very much for your question, Brian Hinojosa. And thank you very much for everyone who submitted questions for this week's Q&A Fridays. Guys, please submit more questions. Either you do it under this video or you wait for the community tab post sometime next week. I really appreciate it, man. Without you guys, there is no Q&A Fridays. Don't ever forget that. So leave your questions in the comment section down below. If you're new around here, consider hitting the subscribe button. Please leave a like on the video. Like, why watch the video and not smash the thumbs up button? Like, why not? If you didn't like the video, you could dislike it. I really don't care. It doesn't matter. It's only your opinion. You could leave your opinion as well. Like the video, dislike it, comment, as long as you actually participate in. But thanks for watching, guys, and until episode 3 of Q&A Fridays, I like to say peace out, Rich Squad.